What's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday, almost Friday here, and our last scheduled show of the week. But hope you guys are having a great stinking day. We are doing the show earlier today just because actually your guy here is going to be helping to host a event here in Baltimore with the Baltimore Business Journal. I'll tell you guys all about that next week. We'll also probably document it on social media, so check out the handles on Instagram, X, TikTok at Ryan Ripken Show for all that and more. But we got a busy day to talk about here. Just because it's early doesn't mean we ain't going to get our baseball talk in and whatever else is on our mind. But there is a huge story that at least is developing in the baseball world. And for Orioles fans, it's around two specific pitchers, and one that you could say would be a mountainous move if they were to actually trade this player. Hope you guys got the hint there. Then we're going to talk a little bit about, some first half awards, what we thought was good, what we think will happen moving forward. We'll go around baseball because even though ESPN seemed to be out on the MLB, well, look who's back to the table, along with some other suitors for Sunday night baseball. And it's Throwback Thursday, Zach.
Oh, yeah.
So if we were talking about getting low yesterday and some of our favorite songs, we'll do a little throwback here and just have a little fun. But if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We do this live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And this episode is brought to you by our friends over at Merit Clubs. We got a lot more things planned with Merit Clubs moving forward. And they got a brand new deal that's dropping on August 1st. So stay tuned. It's an empty studio in here today, except for one guy. He's behind the sticks. Bolly.
How's it going? It feels we made it through the first, and obviously the ESPYs are on. I see Laura asked about that. The ESPYs were on last night.
They were.
Really, besides that, not much, to go off of. No sports to watch unless you stayed up until 1 a.m. and saw the tee-offs for the British Open. But
were you up?
I unfortunately was. I not intentionally, but it was one of those where like you roll over in bed and you're like, oh my gosh, it's like 2 a.m. And then like I see the notification. So of course, me having some money on guys, I had to check at 2 a.m. to see, and then found out none of my guys teed off until 5 a.m. and then went back to bed. But for a moment, I did have to check. So it was nice to see we didn't go too long without sports. It was getting a little concerning. I was getting concerned.
Sports, and I'm actually thinking of that. I've seen where Xander is on here. Xander Schauffele. My pick for fantasy right now. Even round. Hey, get out of the gate okay, right? Some guys are going to go under. I'm seeing, Rory's 2 under. John Rahm's 1 under. He finished 1 under for the day. Okay, that's fine. And then there's some guys at the top of the list that you might not know, except one of them is one off the pace, Scotty Scheffler. Good for that guy.
Need to keep that going.
Yeah.
Actually, just now checking. We're looking fantastic through. Are all these guys finished? All my guys are finished right now. Actually, no, McElroy's not. And that's actually good. That's good. We're sitting pretty right now. We're feeling good. Looking good.
Looking good, feeling good, playing good. That's how we like to look at this. Well, we'll talk a little bit more golf because there's an event coming here just next month. BMW Championship coming to the Baltimore area. We'll talk about that. And hopefully we'll talk about more of Zach's bets later on when we go to Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races. But let's talk about what's on everyone's mind, at least in the baseball world. And specifically, it'll be Orioles fans, but it's really everyone that's a baseball fan. The trade deadline is 2 weeks away. 2 weeks. And we're wondering, when are these other big moves happening? I know the one shocking move that no one saw coming, Zach. Adam Frazier was traded back to the Royals. People are stunned. They can't believe what's happened. But in all seriousness, Adam is one move that is not the one that people are talking about. It's really about a move that hasn't happened yet. It's the rumor mill that is surrounding 2 Baltimore Orioles, because let's just face it, where the Orioles sit right now in the playoff picture, the question has been asked, who will the Orioles deal at the deadline? And it's caused a buzz, so much so that there's two names that seem to be of interest for a lot of those teams that think that they can make a run at the postseason and win the World Series. And today, Ken Rosenthal just put out an article explaining that two Orioles that I didn't think would be on the table actually might be. So, Zach, can we pull up that article real quickly?
Yeah.
So right here, this is in the article. The difference between a Charlie Morton and Rogers is that Rogers is under team control for one more season, and the Orioles plan to contend in 2026. Their current projected rotation would include Grayson Rodriguez and Kyle Bradish, both of whom could be hard-pressed to carry significant workloads coming off major injuries. And now the Orioles are listening on Rogers just as they are listening on closer Felix Bautista, who is under club control for 2 additional seasons. A source briefed on the team's plans, however, said it was unlikely either would be traded, and the Orioles have nearly a dozen potential free agents to work through, including all-star Ryan O'Hearn, and trades involving some or most of those players will be the priority. Okay, so the word unlikely is in there, that Felix Bautista gets traded. The word unlikely. But man, I didn't expect that would be on the bingo card. Not that I'm surprised, because I think that the Orioles need to do their due diligence here, Zach. They need to see if a team is going to give them what they want. And actually, let's pull up Felix Bautista's numbers here for the season. The mountain's starting to look like the mountain, especially as of the last month plus. 33 and 2/3 innings. How about 48 punchies over that time? He's definitely looking like that all-star premier closer, Zach. But is this just all talk? Or do you think that any team is going to give in to the demands of what Baltimore would accept? Because to me, I think it has to be an ace pitcher prospect, or they're not even going to entertain the conversation.
Listen, this is where it gets interesting, because and I want to make this very clear, there's a difference. Should the Baltimore Orioles be listening to offers for Felix Bautista? 1,000%. 1,000% you should listen to offers. Should Felix Bautista should be shopped? Absolutely not. If a team calls and says they want Felix Bautista, if I'm Mike Elias, I have a list. I have a list on my desk of maybe about 10 to 15 prospects in baseball. In all of baseball, not on a team, in all of baseball. That I'm like, if I can get one or two of these guys as a headliner plus, we can talk. Every player is available. Any player can field calls. You can listen to calls on any player. And I think Felix Bautista, for the right price, can be moved. Now, Ryan, I'm going to be honest. The price that I would move Felix Bautista for, I don't think anyone in baseball is going to feel comfortable giving that much up. If the Dodgers want to give up 2 of their top prospects, let's go look at them right now. Let me pull up LA. If I could find, there it is. If they want to give you DePaula and Hope, who are 2 top 100 prospects, they're top 2 guys. They want to give you them. They want to give you Freeland. If they want to give you these top guys, okay, we can start talking. But that's 2 top 50 guys. Not a lot of teams can offer that.
No. And here's the thing, and I'm going to pull up that list here so you can, because the other part of this conversation is not going to be around, well, if they want one of those pitchers, there's some of those out there. Go get them if that's being offered. But you got to look at the teams that are actually in this hunt. The Pirates, for instance, were where people look at it and go, look, that's a great trade partner for the Orioles. Well, guess what? The Pirates ain't trading for Felix Bautista and giving up an ace pitcher. Why? The Pirates ain't going anywhere, right? So you got to look at the teams that have aspirations to go deep into the postseason. So the Dodgers is one of them right here. So you're looking at their top 5 guys on this list. There's two guys, their top two prospects are a little bit of ways away. ETA 2026, 2027. You just mentioned in DePaul and Hope. You have then the next two prospects that are in that fringe range. But Zach, the thing that I'm going to look at here is that moving the needle that you would give up Felix for right there. That's a no, because I don't think it's a priority to have an outfielder. Yeah, we like the talent. The Orioles need a stud, and specifically a stud that'd be on the mound there that can go throw some fuzzballs and have the upside to be a top guy. Like, let's look back to this real quickly on the Juan Soto deal. Okay. When Juan Soto got traded from the Nationals to the Padres, yeah, they evaluated these top guys that San Diego had. And granted, the Nationals were willing to, understand that there was going to be some time, but they acquired two players that were big league ready in CJ Abrams and Mackenzie Gore. And then James Wood was knocking on the door, and then whammy, you see the guy just do the damn thing, right? Mackenzie Gore, if he was available in a deal, upside, ace potential, just was an all-star this past year, Zach. I'm just saying that is what it would take to get to the table. And to your point, our team's going to be willing to go out there and make that move. Personally, I have a hard time seeing that. Another team, let's look at Philly, because this is where people...
This is the more realistic one. Or I shouldn't say realistic, because I'm going to be honest. Ryan, what have we been saying? A deal that to get Felix Bautista, it's going to take a deal that you'd be a little uncomfortable with if you're an opposing team trading for him, because you're going to have to give up a lot. I think this fits that narrative of, I know the guy you're going to, Andrew Painter, the number 9 prospect in baseball, right-handed pitcher for the Phillies. He's in AAA, 22. He's expected to be up this year or the next year. That's the guy where Ryan, if you told me Felix Bautista was going to Philly and you were getting Andrew Painter, you were maybe getting a guy like, maybe you add in Justin Crawford or Aiden Miller plus McAble if you're not able to get Painter, then we're sitting there and we can have that conversation. And then I'm like, okay, you did what you could. You went out there and you said we're only trading him if we're getting a potential frontline starter, and we got that, so we did it. If the Orioles did that, I would sit there and be like, okay. But like you said, if they trade him to the Dodgers and get 2 outfield prospects, I'm like, I feel like we traded him to trade him. I agree with what you said. If you're going to trade him, I need to know that I have a pretty good chance, or at least I have a guy with the potential in the next year or two that can be that frontline guy.
Yeah, it's starting pitching. Going to get a premier bat, I'd be shocked if that was a deal. Yeah. And again, this is the hypotheticals. I would be crushed if Felix Bautista got moved, just because, one, he's my former teammate. He's my guy. I've seen him also just be truly a mountain since the moment I met him. It's hard to miss him. But people love him, and he's one of the best in the game. And if the Orioles are going to be right where they hope to be next year, which is they believe they should contend, they should be at the top of the AL East. Don't you want the guy that stands 6'7"? I know it says on the weight, 280. Maybe he's pushing 3 bills.
I don't know about that.
But he's throwing 99-mile-an-hour fuzzballs with that little split piece. Yeah, I kind of want that guy, because it's shut down. It's confidence in the back of your bullpen. But you can't underestimate the value of getting a premier arm, because that's what people talk about constantly, over and over and over again. I want to pull up I want to pull up the top 10 pitchers in the prospect rankings for right-handed pitchers, and then we're going to do the left, just to give people an idea of, is this really plausible here? And then we'll get into Trevor Rogers.
Yeah.
Okay, because this is something that I think will play into this conversation, and maybe a little spoiler, I think the one that would make more sense to trade would be Felix and Trevor, given your state of your team.
Yeah.
Right? But let's pull up the top righties right here. Here's the top 10. And ready, 3, 2, 1, whammy. There it is. So when you're looking at this list, we just mentioned Andrew Painter.
Yeah.
He's in the top 3 of top right-handed arms. These are right-handed pitchers. Then we'll go left. Are the Reds moving Chase Burns? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Are the Pirates going to trade Bubba?
Nope.
No. Jacob Mizorowski, all-star, 25 innings. They're moving the guy that throws 98-mile-an-hour slide pieces. No. I don't know much about with Rhett Lauder. I don't know as much with him, but the Reds, where they are, I don't see it.
He's supposed to be there. I can talk about him a little bit. He's kind of their next guy. He's the next Chase Burns, even though he was drafted the year before. He's kind of that next star added to that rotation. But Ryan, not even saying, okay, are they going to move these guys? Are the Reds selling top prospects for I know it's 2 years after this, but are the Reds really in contention that much where they're moving those guys? Are the Nationals in contention that much where they're moving two guys, one of those top guys? Blue Jays, I don't think the Orioles would deal with them. Mets are another team, but okay, so now you have 3 of these 10 guys. I would say that realistically, the 2 Mets pitchers and Painter that realistically would want, someone, and even the Mets, they have Diaz. Why would they want? So now it's like it's Painter or nothing in this list.
And to the point, I want to just back with Rhett. Yeah. When I say not knowing as much about the situation, I meant more of, I don't know if they would actually be willing to move him, because talent-wise, you're right. He's right there underneath with Burns, and you got 2 guys, and the Reds are in this thing. So that's why I just don't see that happening, especially where Rhett is now in the big league. So, but going down this list, you trade in division. Toronto could be one with Trey. Okay. The one that I actually think that the Orioles really want? I think they really want?
What's that?
I think they want Nolan McLean. I really think they want him. Those 2 guys, Jonah and Nolan, I would circle both of those guys if I were an Orioles fan. I think realistically, one of those guys could get moved because of where the Mets are and because of what they are going to try to accomplish. That to me is the only 2 on that list that I think the Orioles realistically are eyeing. Okay? And you might think I'm crazy. You know why I bring up the Nolan part?
Why?
Didn't the Orioles draft him? Am I losing my mind on that?
I forgot about
that. Didn't the Orioles draft him and he didn't sign?
They did. I forgot.
Give me the hat over there for a minute. Give me that hat for a second. Throw it over here. So what you're telling me is, would the Orioles go after a guy that they couldn't come to terms with, but they really liked? I'm just saying, makes you think here. It would make you think. Mm-hmm. But in all seriousness, when you're looking at that list of right-handed arms, I think that's the only 2 arms that are actually going to be attainable because of the team that they're on. I don't think that the Phillies are going to give up Andrew Painter. I think the Mets would toy with giving up one of their 2 top pitching prospects right there. But now let's go to the other side of Trevor Rogers, right? And Trevor Rogers is having a resurgence. And when we look at this, Trevor Rogers, you look at his career, 17-35, 4.14 ERA. But really, his success came in year 1 in 2021 as a rookie, where he was an all-star, had a lot of injuries, and then lost his form. And then there was this season in the minor leagues to start, had the knee issue, the knee problem before spring training, got right, waited his turn, and fans saw him on a doubleheader day in Boston and thought, is that going to be a fluke? Well, so far through 35 innings, he's looked like the Orioles' best pitcher. And
just as we all suspected.
As everyone expected. I have a hard time thinking, Zach, of the 2 guys, I don't see them willing to give up Trevor Rogers if this is what he's going to be for your team possibly next year. You don't have the pitching depth from the starters at this current moment. And if he pitches this way, your staff, hypothetically on paper with a healthy Kyle and Grayson Rodriguez, it's a good trio.
I'll throw in Dean.
Throw in Dean. Don't forget. How could I forget about Dino, who has upside?
Who also leads the Orioles in almost every category of pitcher, but people refuse to acknowledge that. But
people don't want to admit that Dean Kramer is actually better than he has been perceived.
I put out before the season that Dean Kramer was going to mess around and lead the Orioles in wins, and you would have thought I said the most controversial take ever on Twitter, and he leads the Orioles in wins halfway through the year. So I think people do underestimate Dean. But back to Trevor Rogers, I agree. And I'll throw this hand in as well. Why would Mike Elias, after everything last year, you traded Stowers, you traded Norby, and you get Trevor Rogers knowing, okay, we're going to probably play the long game on this one. He may not help us immediately. This is going to be something that we need to, maybe fix some mechanics, get, maybe the injury, let him rest up, figure that stuff out. I think they knew that 2025 was the year for Trevor Rogers. So if you're finally seeing your quote unquote master plan, okay, we see what Trevor Rogers can be. We just got to unlock it. If you see that already, you're seeing that come to fruition. Why are you trading him now? If you genuinely felt like when you acquired Trevor Rogers, because they said when they got him, they were comfortable giving up those two guys because they feel like they know what Trevor can be. Now he's being that. He is looking like one of those good left-handed pitchers. Why would you give up on that? Why would you give it away? I agree. I think weirdly, I would be more shocked if they traded Rogers than Felix at this point.
I would for that. And starting pitching is a premium. As much as I think, though, having a back-end guy that is just nails, I think that that's so valuable. We've seen life when Felix Bautista hasn't been there, where it's by a committee. I don't like a by committee approach with any team. I mean, to be honest, I don't love the whole when you have to platoon guys all the time for teams. Like, I know the Orioles do a lot of it, and it works to an extent, but I like guys that are set in their roles. Closing is a hard role. It's extremely hard. That not everyone is meant to be a closer. So if you move on from that and you're going to be a contender, you're in need for that. And so that's something to look at, but you can't undermine the fact that if your starting pitching has the problems, and especially like the Orioles with the start that they got off to, you're sitting there going, well, damn, like we need as much starting pitching as we can get. The last group of lists that I'll throw up here, and if you're new to the channel, hit the like and subscribe button, was those left-handed pitchers.
This is even slimmer.
It is. It's even slimmer because really when you're looking at this list.
What team there besides the Dodgers and the Giants are going to be buying right now?
Yeah, they're not. Miami, I don't see. Well, actually, I'll take it back with Miami. Miami has a plethora of just talent in this, place. So they could move a guy in the big leagues. Like Sandy is the one name that's still, I think a lot of the contenders are really going to knock on the door and try to give them a deal that the Marlins can't refuse. But if you're the Marlins, you only trade one of these left-handed arms if you're getting a premier bat, right? So you got to give up a premier bat. I think teams would consider, but that's not helping a team win the playoffs this year, right? Yeah. That's not helping a team win the playoffs right now. So I think that it's really slim that the Orioles are going to trade Felix Bautista because of the plethora of arms that are available. And I don't think that Trevor Rogers should be dealt either. And I think for the Orioles, why so many teams are looking at them is because they have actually so much veteran talent. They do. If I'm Philly, I'm the Mets. One of those teams should be calling Mike Elias every single day.
Yeah.
They should. I am very bullish on this. Will not be surprised, Zach. I actually expect that the Mets are going to call the Orioles and be one of those teams constantly in. I think that the Phillies and the Mets are going to fight for going to get a guy.
Yeah.
And I think then if we're going to look out west, I think the Dodgers, they're going to look to enhance their lineup. In the American League, it's a little trickier because Seattle's going to probably be in this mix. Houston, I don't know if they want to buy. They got a good, I think they'll buy bullpen arms. Like Dominguez, I think is a guy that could go. That's why everyone looks at Baltimore, is because of how many assets they actually have. Because Wysack, they actually have a good roster.
Mm-hmm.
They have a good roster. The team has just severely underperformed.
Yeah. And I think that's the funniest thing. I kind of close out my part of it. I see so many people, especially on Twitter, just the greatest minds on earth. A lot of people saying like, yeah, you sell Bautista because it's clear this team isn't as good as we think they are, and the core is not good, and you should probably just restart and get guys. If I mean, this team won 101 games 2 years ago. They won 90 some games last year. Injuries and underperformance. You can tell me that this team is underperforming and it's concerning. Yeah. Can't tell me the talent's not there. Can't tell me the core is not there. Does the core need to step up? Yeah. Gunnar Henderson having a down year, which is so funny when you look at his numbers. It's a lot of guys' career years halfway through this point. But you expect Gunnar to be an MVP caliber guy. I think he returns to that. I think we're just seeing Jackson Holliday scratch the surface.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jackson Holliday is going to be a guy in 2-3 years. I love Gunnar Henderson. I don't think there's going to be a question in the face of the Baltimore Orioles. I think that's nothing. I think Gunnar Henderson can win MVPs. I think that's how good Jackson Holliday can be when he continues to grow and develop. I think guys like Jordan Westberg, like Colton Cowser, as underappreciated as it gets. Colton Cowser is the most hated on, should have been Rookie of the Year, finished runner-up that I've ever seen. People act like he's some bum. Like Colton Cowser, there's a reason. Did he not win Rookie of the Month? Was he not hitting like 350 last?
Was he not arguably could have won the Rookie of the
Yeah,
Year?
he finished exactly.
Like people still think he should have won the Rookie of the Year. Like that's where it was. He's an all-star caliber player.
Yeah, and people act like it's like, oh, they were just missing Cowser and Westberg. It's like, you mean 2 all-star caliber players? You mean Jordan Westberg, Mr. Glue, Mr. Reliable, the guy who just simply produces. He's going to compromise and get the job done if he can't produce. He'll get the sack fly. Like, you have guys that I feel like when this team's healthy, no, I'm not going to say this team can go win 101 games again. And yeah, over the offseason, they need to make moves. I'm not saying run it back with this team. That is the last thing I'm saying. They need to make moves, and they know that. They know the pressure's on. The biggest thing is the only way that this team doesn't compete next year is if they decide not to. Is if they say, okay, let's trade Rodgers for minor league guys. Let's trade Bautista for low-end minor league guys. If they start doing that, then yeah, they probably won't compete next year. But if you keep the core and you add on to it, I think if you can get rid of guys like Sir Anthony, if you are truly selling, you get rid of guys like Soto and Sir Anthony, I think those guys are going to get bigger hauls than people think.
Sir Anthony, for sure.
Yeah, and I think there's an argument I've been seeing a lot. I think there's an argument that Gregory Soto might be the best power lefty arm on the block. And I think so you get that. And then you also I've been saying this for the past 3 weeks. I think people are going to genuinely fall to the ground because they're so uncomfortable with the return that Charlie Morton gets. I think it's going to be a Yusei Kikuchi type haul from last year where the notification hit and everybody, even if their team wasn't involved in the trade, went, that's what they just got for Yusei Kikuchi? I think Charlie Morton, the past 8 starts, past 2 months, have been one of the best pitchers in baseball. I think the Orioles have a lot of value that they can get rid of without sacrificing 2026. So the whole, notion that, hey, the Orioles can't compete next year, get rid of a bunch of guys. The core is there. They got to fill out the remainder of the core better, but that core is there. If you can get some guys that are ready to play in the next year, prospects and stuff, and then you add on in free agency, you go get, maybe a good pitcher, you go get a bullpen arm, you go maybe add a middle of the order bat. I think, I can't buy into this notion that the Orioles should just rebuild. The talent's there.
They're not going to rebuild either. Like, I just want to reiterate, they are not rebuilding. They are retooling. And I saw some comments. Whether they win 10 in a row coming out of the break, I don't think it's going to change what they decide to do. I think that they're going to look at the value. And I think why they opened up of saying this, one, you want the smoke and mirrors, you want people to talk, right? You want the word to get out there and buzz and have people pick up the phone and say, hey, Mike, what's the price? Because that's what happened with Brian Baker, that they weren't intended on trading Brian Baker, but a deal came about and the value was too good. They made the trade. So I think that the Orioles, they're going to look at the value of it and really address it. And the reality is Baltimore has more pieces than any other team, in my opinion, because not only are the Orioles a team that has a roster of talent, they also have guys that know how to handle, people can say they don't handle the situations all the best. The guys that people are trading for are veteran players who know how to handle it. That I want to emphasize that. The younger players are learning. The veteran guys have figured out their craft and know how to handle higher pressure situations. We're talking about Ryan O'Hearn. Said he's had his downtime, but said he's going to be fine. Dominguez, Soto, veterans that have been around. That's appealing to teams that are going to make a run. And I'm going to say this right now. That's my bold prediction for today, Zach. The New York Mets are going to make a trade with the Baltimore Orioles, regardless of what the Orioles decide to do. That is my bold prediction, that the Orioles are going to make a move and sell somebody off, even if they are still in this hunt. That's what I think. We'll see what happens. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But if you guys have enjoyed that conversation, we got going for a while there, but that's on people's minds.
Yeah, I think it's the big news right now. It's no sports are really on. Like this is pure trade, the height of trade talk. I mean, we are actually, is it officially? Yeah, today's 2 weeks. 2 weeks exactly until the trade deadline. If you think trade talks are at their peak, buckle up.
Oh, we're just getting started. If you think it's over, we're just getting started. And we're just getting started here with the Ryan Ripken Show and Ryan Ripken Media. So if you're new to that channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Do this live every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right here on YouTube, Facebook, and X. See the likes on Facebook. I see our community in YouTube. And obviously, we've been rolling on X for a while. See you guys. Appreciate you. And if you want to be a part of the channel on YouTube, though, click that join button. Become a member of the channel. You can be a Rips Good Kid or a Holy Shirts and Pants member. We're trying to continue to enhance for our channel members. And we appreciate you guys. You've been the backbone for us as we continue to grow each and every day. It's been a fun ride. We're only 22 months into this thing, and it's been a hell of a ride so far here. We got a lot more expansion coming here in the future. Well, that's for trade talk, at least for now. Why don't we take a quick trip, since we were talking about your betting and your failures? Then we're going to hop right back into some baseball talk. But why don't we take a quick trip up to our friends at Hollywood Casino, Charlestown Races, and West Virginia. Boom. Well, you already kind of spoiled it because there hasn't been a lot of action, at least for the few days, but didn't stop the golf world. The Open is going on right up here, over there, over yonder, across the pond. But Bali, what are we thinking right now for your bets for the Open?
All right, so pretty much what we're thinking. I guess I can't give my parlay because it started at 1 a.m. last night. So here's what we're going to do instead. I'm going to change it up a little bit. We're taking two people. Scotty Scheffler, we'll combine them to get plus 100-ish. Scotty Scheffler to finish top 5. Rory McIlroy to finish top 10, ties included. So if everyone finishes tied for 10th, it still hits. So lovely aspect. It's my favorite part of golf.
That is like, really nice. That's really nice.
There are times where I've won some bets where I'm like, well, I just need 3 more guys to fall, and then suddenly 8 guys are now tied for 10th. So I think that's where we're going. One, Rory McIlroy, he's been hot. It's just, it feels like he's in the top part of every major. He's playing some incredible golf, and then if you root against Scotty or bet against Scotty, I don't know what to tell you. He's reached that level of he is so great at what he does, and you can tell that part of it is just like he's like, damn, I'm almost too good at this. Because whenever you talk to after the post pressers and everything, they'll be like, yeah, how's it feel, like all this stuff? And he's like, yeah, I mean, golf's fun, but there are more important things in my life. He's like, my family, stuff like that. And he's just one of those guys where you can tell he's just a normal guy who just is the best golfer in the entire world. So love watching Scotty play. It's just incredible, that mindset of like, yeah, no, I know I'm one of the best golfers. I'm the best golfer out there. Go down as one of the best ever. He's like, yeah, but like it's fun, but I have more important things. My family. I love being a dad, stuff like that. And you can tell, just an average guy. I love that. Those guys.
The simple things, even though he's just raking in just tournament win after tournament win and millions of dollars, and it's just like, yeah, it's okay. I enjoyed it.
He continued his streak of he has been the favorite to win in every single tournament in 2025.
That must be nice. To just be that good, that good, and that humble.
Scotty, the fact that in every tournament you can bet the winner outside of Scotty Scheffler, so they will eliminate Scotty. So if Scotty wins, it's whoever gets second. If they're giving bets like that, you're doing something right.
Damn right. And Joe, I saw it there. So far, Scheffler tied for 7th, 3 under after his first round, 1 shot off the lead with 3 more rounds to go.
And if he's 1 shot off the lead after the first round, that's so scary, because the number of times over the past few tournaments that he'll finish the first 2 days and you're like, oh man, Scotty's like 6 back of the leader. And then all of a sudden you get the ESPN notification Saturday evening. It's like, here comes Scotty. And you're like, oh, it was inevitable. You go check. He's 2 off. You're like, yep. And the guy in first going into Sunday, he knows where Scotty is.
Scotty doesn't know.
Yeah.
Scotty doesn't know. But we do know that Scotty's right there lurking.
Don't tell Scotty.
Again, Throwback Thursday. The fact that that's Matt Damon just absolutely slinging a banger. Do you know what movie that's from?
Nope.
Okay. Yep, I should have known better. That's one you should go back and watch.
Don't tell Scotty.
But you know the song.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know the song. I don't know the movie.
Scotty doesn't know. Yeah, and Matt Damon singing it. It's incredible. It's Euro Trip, but that's fine. Yes. And since it's also Throwback Thursday here, it's a safe bet that we're going to see Scotty Scheffler come to Baltimore. Safe to say.
Yeah.
He's pretty good because with the FedEx Cup and the standings, right, it's guys are going to advance into it. So the BMW Championship's coming here, we talked about next month. And actually, this was one angle, I think, of Cantley winning it on this Throwback Thursday. I got the video. Over under 2 seconds here, Zach.
Under, because I know this is rigged.
Under. 1 Mississippi. 1 Mississippi. So there's a little crowd reaction up there at Caves when Cantley defeated Bryson DeChambeau to win it. And actually, I'm going to pull this up right now. Pull up the other one. I love how Cantley just was an absolute beast.
Golf is one of those crazy sports where it's sort of, I don't want to say it's like tennis. Golf's, I guess, different than tennis because I feel like tennis, these guys, they'll stay at the top for years and years and years. I feel like golf is one of those sports where they'll be talking about a guy and he'll go on a 3-year stretch where he's the best in the world. And then he'll go 3 years where he's just literally an average golfer. And then he'll have years where he's the best in the world again. And honestly, the name that comes to mind is Jordan Spieth because he was supposed to be
Spieth.
He was supposed to be the next Tiger. Like he was what, winning the Masters at like 20, 21. He was supposed to be the guy. They became just a really good golfer, but because of the expectations, people, and then like every once in a while, he'll hop up and dominate for a few, and you're like, oh, yep, Jordan Spieth is back. Then I feel like they fluctuate more than any sport because you'll see like, oh, he's a number 3 golfer in the world. Then you'll check like a year later and you're like, he's a number 50 golfer.
He was supposed to, what people thought, which Scotty's doing now, they thought Spieth was going to be. And he's a sneaky pick to finish in the top 10 of the Open here. And this was also back at on Throwback Thursday. It's Cantley, the BMW Championship at Caves right there. Hey, I mean, hey, it's looking good. I am so mad I missed that, but I was playing for the Tides. Go Tides. Never would take a moment for granted in professional baseball and with the Norfolk Tides. But the event is coming back here, Zach. It'll be back here next month. And if you guys are interested and you're feeling froggy, and when I move, you move, Zach, over
Just
under
like
10
that.
seconds here.
Under.
Yes, you did it. You did a great job. Right there on the BMW Championship website, right there, bmwchampionship.com. Caves Valley Golf Club, north of Baltimore, August 12th to 17th. Tickets are on sale. Should be a phenomenal time. I always have been, I love what golf does, but you can go check out the website here, the different tickets, the moments. And it's Baltimore, man. People love their sports in Baltimore. You get a premier event. You want to also go watch a guy like Scotty Scheffler, and Zach will put all of his money down on him. But if he does, then don't bet on Scotty. But there it is. Join us right there. It's that simple right there. Oh gosh, I did click on tickets. Nice. Oh, tickets starting at $30, dude.
Come on.
There are some expensive tickets, but $30.
It's not bad.
You know what? I'll buy you a ticket, Zach.
That's not bad.
I'll buy you a ticket.
There we go. We'll see you there then.
But just don't heckle if your bets aren't working out. You know? No guarantee there.
Sitting there just thinking of the Happy Gilmore.
Yeah. Whammy.
Yeah, I got the nail in the head. You'll see me out there.
I'm really proud of you for bringing that up because it's a movie quote. You know, it's a movie.
Yeah.
It's a scene.
Well, I told you, like Happy Gilmore, I feel like, although I understand there's a lot of movies that like I should know that I don't, but Happy Gilmore was just one of those, like sitting there, because I feel like the one scene that really resonated with me was him sitting in front of the pitch machine, just taking off the
365.
4 days till hockey tryouts, because I felt like as a kid when you were sitting there, like, you know, it was the thoughts, the intrusive thoughts where you're like, man, I could just stand in front of that and like, would that hurt? Like as a kid, you know how you would like sit there and you're like, okay, that does. I felt like when he did that, I was like, yeah, I related to that as a child. I was like, I've wanted to see what that was like.
You ever been drilled by a 95-mile-an-hour heater?
No, I said I would when we hit 5,000 subscribers, but that's past us now, so we will never know.
Yeah. Hopefully Scotty Doe doesn't have to hit a ball off of Frankenstein's fat foot.
Lives.
No. You know what? Everyone's having fun. Well, I'm not, Doug, but we are having fun here today. But with all this conversations and talk with the BMW Championship, with the Open going on right now, if you want to tail Zach at your own discretion, right? Because that is a dangerous game to play.
Yep.
Go check out with ESPN Bet over under 1 second, Zach. 1 second. If you go to ESPN Bet, you bet $10, you get 100 in bonus bets, and you get ESPN Plus free for 30 days. Just download the ESPN Bet app. But you must be 21 or older. And if you got a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or our friend Rocco DeSangro. And yes, Rocco DeSangro is still a part of our group here. And we are still very thankful for our group in partnership with Hollywood Casino Charlestown Races in West Virginia. Boom. Now, should we get back to baseball?
Let's do it.
Are we back in it? All right. So do we talk about first half awards first, or we want to talk about that Rob Manfred has networks?
Yeah, you want
just
to talk Rob Manfred real fast?
Yeah, we'll talk about that real quick. So the report is out there. If you guys remember from just a few months ago, that ESPN was saying, no, we are done with Major League Baseball after this season. And maybe because of the recent success with Major League Baseball, maybe the viewership, that there's reports that ESPN is coming back to the table. And Awful Announcing, I saw the article on there, and I'll pull up the image and the tweet from Awful Announcing. They're saying ESPN's back at the table, Zach, but they're not the only ones there. Because you know what? When you decide that I'm not sure if I want to do this, it allows some other people to come on in. And NBC and Apple are now competing for a bid for Sunday Night Baseball. Good for Major League Baseball, by the way. It is growing. It's going. I know people can feel a certain way about Rob Manfred. I understand. People don't like commissioners. Say he's ruining the game, whatever you want to say. I don't know how I would feel with everything else, but they are finally back in demand.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say it. If this goes to Apple TV, that's an issue. Like that's the biggest thing. If NBC, if ESPN gets it, awesome. Love it. Let's go. Grow the game. If we put yet another thing behind Apple TV, I already have to spend $5 every like 3 weeks, 4 weeks after I cancel the membership because I'm like, okay, I only need it for this one night to watch the Orioles every other Friday, it feels like. Then, I mean, it's just another. I don't need it to be. I don't need to have Roku games of the week, Apple TV games of the week. Like, give me MLB TV without blackouts. We want to talk about growing the game. There you go.
Yep.
And let's stop having have this stuff on television. ESPN, NBC. Those are, if you don't have cable, those are apps that you probably have if you watch sports. ESPN app, NBC app. You probably are able. I know on YouTube TV you can watch. If you do that, you can watch those things through YouTube TV, ESPN, and NBC. So those are ways that you can continue to grow the game. Having it on Apple where you have to have an Apple thing, I just think that takes it. What are we doing here? I understand. And what sucks is I have a good feeling what the highest bid is. I feel like I'm just lying to myself. I have a good feeling what the highest bid probably is.
Yeah, we know what will happen here if Apple gets this deal. Yeah, people are going to riot a little bit. People are going to be upset because it feels like in all of the packaging of everything, it's more pay to watch. And you're like, oh, hey, let's get rid of blackouts. Great. But here's a price for this subscription. And look, not everyone's going to watch Severance or whatever you're watching on Apple, even though I like Severance a lot. I think it's been a lot of fun. Or Ted Lasso, big Ted Lasso guy. People don't want to always buy these subscriptions. Now, I will say, are people buying them for football? Yeah, they have been. Netflix, Peacock, what else? Amazon, right?
Yeah.
I think that the average viewer is just sick and tired of having to pay for subscriptions just to watch something that they love. That's going to be the tall task here is, can you make this worthwhile to the fan without putting people in a bind? Like Major League Baseball, you're trending in a good spot, but whoever makes this deal, make it accessible, make it easy, make it easy. That's all I can say. At least with football, there's one game a week, and we know football is still king in the country. People will watch it. That's why they buy all the apps, Sunday Ticket, et cetera, et cetera. But you do this for baseball, and Apple is running 2 or 3 games a week, it's going to be a bummer. I think it's not going to be as much of a turnout that you would have hoped if you just had it on the regular networks, or at least have the teams run if they're playing it. Like if the Orioles are playing on Apple TV, let Masson then have the coverage.
Yeah.
Of your demographic, and then let the rest of the country have Apple TV. That's a solvable issue, right? Because then everyone wins.
Yeah.
Whammy.
I feel like, and what sucks is it's like, I feel like it's hardest to watch baseball games, just with blackouts and everything. But the one place or the one thing that baseball does better than any other sports is, I think, MLB Network. MLB Network is incredible. It's actual analysis. You can watch games. If you tune into MLB Network at night, they have in-depth, they're showing the games, live look-ins. They're breaking things down. They have incredible shows that actually talk ball, aren't just talking about the hot topics. They have incredible breakdowns. People that know what they're talking about feel like they blow NFL Network out of the water there. NHL Network, NBA Network, they beat all of them by a pretty good margin just at the content. So then it's so frustrating. It's like, if you're doing that so well, why don't you take blackouts out? Make it easier to watch games. Not putting Sunday Night Baseball on Apple TV. Like that's I feel like that's if we're trying to grow the game, why are we putting it on places that less people have?
Yeah,
I think that's where my biggest thing comes from.
I think accessibility is key to growing. And people don't want to have to pay an extra fee to watch their team if they're already paying a fee to watch their team. The Masson app of watching it's allowing people to watch all over MLB TV, right? That was made to give you the options. There needs to be a simple way for fans. But for baseball and MLB, it's nice that you have suitors, and someone's going to pay a high price to bring Major League Baseball to Sunday nights again. And we'll see what else happens in that. But hey, time will tell. But at least for right now, what time's telling is you can hit that like and subscribe button. This is the Ryan Ripken Show, because we do this live every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook. Hit that like for us and leave us a review when we put out the podcast as well. This will be on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast when we wrap this thing up. Now, one other thing, then this is the fun part, Zach. Yeah. I know you wanted to do this yesterday. So here we are. Let's talk about it. First half awards. Yeah. Which way do we want to go? You lead us into this.
So we'll do overall. I don't want to separate AL, NL, because then I feel like those are pretty obvious as you get into that. So we'll go overall. I'm going to go three. We'll go three things. We'll go MVP of the league, MVP of the entire league. I want to go biggest surprise / breakout, maybe something good, a team, a player breaking out that you were like, oh, didn't expect that. That's good. And then I'll say biggest disappointment, and that can be, once again, team, player, any of that. So we'll start off with MVP. Would you like to go first, or
no? Please batter up. God, I hate that's a terrible.
For MVP, I'm gonna do the cop out. I know, and I hate myself as well for it. You gotta go Ohtani. I'll go Ohtani because I feel like I know where you'll go.
Boo.
If you hit, you pitch. He has a 1 ERA. I mean, Shohei Ohtani is so. Let me pull up the. It sickens me that I have to do this because it's like the easiest thing, but 276, 32 homers, 60 RBIs, 102 hits already, while also pitching. It's just unbelievable. It really is. So I'll do that. That was the one. I knew we had to do MVP. So I knew that was the other ones will be more creative, but that one I did have to go Ohtani.
I think it's got to be. I want to shout out Pete Crow Armstrong, though. PCA is balling, but it's hard to take away a guy that's got 32 jacks and is now pitching again, has 60 RBIs on the season, 91 runs scored, and he steals bags.
Yeah.
What the hell? How am I supposed to chip with that going on,
literally.
Doug?
And I'm sure the pitchers feeling like that. How am I supposed to pitch when this guy's hitting 500-foot homers, stealing bags after you intentionally walk him, and then he goes on the mound and shuts down your team? It's just, how am I supposed to work?
Yeah, how am I supposed to work in these conditions? But how about on the AL?
Yeah.
We're going to stay with an MVP. Are we going with Judge? Or are we going with Big Dump?
I mean, it's Judge. I would love for somebody to challenge Judge. But I think we are going to be caught in that kind of thing where for the next probably 2-3 years again, and then obviously the past few years, it's going to be Judge and Ohtani. It's going to be them two winning the awards, and then you go from there. So yeah, it's Aaron Judge. I love what Cal Raleigh's doing, but it is very hard for me if I am looking just also at the eye test. Not just the stats, even though the stats I think still favor Judge and mostly besides homers.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Judge, in the games against the Mariners, I was weary of Cal Raleigh, but I was not like, okay. I was like, you can pitch to him, pitch around him a little bit, all that. Anytime Judge steps up to the plate, I expect it to be a homer. Like that's the thing. Is like Aaron Judge, I don't want to get caught in that realm where I am underappreciating the greatness that's going on, because yes, Cal Raleigh has 38 homers. That's super cool. Judge has 35 and is batting 355. Like he has 81 RBIs already.
Here, let me pull up the Oh, that's for his whole thing. No, I want to just do not choose same seasons. I want to do just this season. What am I doing here? Yeah, trying to just compare this season. That's all I want. Just want to compare one season. That's all. That's all I'm trying to do. It's probably going to mess up.
Oh, it always.
Oh yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what to do with my hands. But Aaron Judge, it's kind of hard to deny that. Yeah, but this is the thing when you talk about historic seasons. Is it crazy to think that Cal Raleigh could have the best offensive season in the history of the sport for a catcher and not win the MVP if the Mariners go to the World Series and he leads the league in RBIs and et cetera, not World Series, but goes to the playoffs, right? But yeah, I think there it is. Like it just like, and this is the crazy thing is that Cal Raleigh, this is ridiculous what a primary catcher's doing.
This is unbelievable. And then you look at all of it, and I'm looking more at like he's batting a whole 0.1 above him in batting average. I mean, that's 259 versus 355. The on base percentage. Judge is getting on base almost 50% of the time.
And that's the part of it, right? It's like when we make the argument, Judge should win, right? Like look at that. Hitting 355 and slugging 733 and getting on base almost half the time. 46% of the time you're getting on base is ludicrous.
I hate to be the guy that has to say there's levels to this, but Cal Raleigh is putting on one of the all-time probably one of the greatest offensive seasons we've ever seen from a catcher, and has a 1.011 OPS. And then Aaron Judge is just having an Aaron Judge year, and he has almost a 1.2.
Yeah, Judge is quietly, which people don't want to say this part out loud, he's having one of the best seasons for a hitter once again. And we're watching and witnessing it. So we're together on that with Judge, but I just wanted to point out that we might be witnessing one of the best years with Cal Raleigh. Let's keep it moving, Zach. What direction we heading to next?
So next we're going to go biggest surprise, or maybe if you want to call it a breakout. And actually, you already mentioned my guy. I'm going PCA. I mean, there's not been a more just unbelievable breakout in baseball than Pete Crow Armstrong this year. I mean, let's pull up the stats real quick.
Hey.
I mean, he's batting 250, 265, 25 homers, 71 RBIs. But it doesn't just stop there, because obviously we're talking about breakouts. In 2024, he batted 237. He had a 2.3 WAR. He's already at a 5.2. I mean, he's already beaten his hits from last year. He has almost 100 hits. He's at 99, 21 doubles, 25 homers, 4 triples, 71 RBIs, 27 stolen bases, 18 walks. I mean, this guy, he's having an unbelievable breakout season, and it's hard for me to give. I know you could go different teams, different players, but overall, biggest breakout, player or team, biggest surprise has got to be PCA.
So is it surprise or breakout?
We'll do breakout. Biggest breakout right now.
Because breakout for me, he's just laying the wood. It's James Wood for me. Breaking out to superstar, right? Which I wasn't surprised he was going to do this, but you wanted to see what he could coming off 79 games last year, 9 home runs. And this year, 95 games, he's already got 24 jacks, 19 doubles, 69 RBIs, and has an OPS over 900. And you're starting to see James Wood emerge. Just like you said, PCA is emerging as an all-around player. James Wood is going to emerge as one of the best hitters in baseball, period.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to stick with the Rockville, Maryland guy, or Olney, born in Rockville, I believe, spent his life in Olney, Maryland product, and he is lights out. And he is I have been infatuated with how he swings the bat. I know it might feel like I'm just talking up James Wood, but the dude, I can't get over how easy it is for him to hit an opposite field ball. I don't think people understand how freaking hard that is. and he's piping at 430 or dead center and it's way gone. And he's young. He's only 22 years old. Zach, he's going to be 23 at the end, almost at the end of the big league season, September 17th. Dude is unbelievable. Yeah. And I know, Tone, I saw that too. It is Olney. He did like he grew up in Olney. Just saying he could be the birthplace, Rockville. He's an Olney guy. If I check my math correct, he's a Maryland guy, one way or another. James Wood laying the wood. Yeah. There's my piece of lumber over there. I was wondering where it went.
I was gonna say it's over.
Okay.
Over there.
Continue on, Zach.
And then so for our final one, we've talked MVPs, we've talked obviously biggest breakout. Now let's go on the other side. The biggest disappointment of the 2025 season.
Oh,
and I'm going a little different. I'm going to go a little different. I'm going Arizona Diamondbacks. So I know everyone's going to be like the Orioles. Yes, the Orioles, insane disappointment. I'm going to say the Diamondbacks for this reason. The Orioles going into this season, the talk was about what they didn't do in the offseason. You know, they didn't get enough guys. They lost Corbin Burns. They lost Anthony Santander. And a lot of people were like, damn, is this team going to take a step back? You know, a lot of people, I could say people didn't see it coming. People in our comments who are pretty, can be negative at times. They were saying they're going to be, in this 80 wins, 70 wins. And, I think there were some experts that saw a little bit of regression coming. The Diamondbacks, you add Corbin Burns. You have Zach Gallen. You get back Rodriguez. You get back. It just felt like they were building something. And in the big, bad NL West with injuries, and I'm going to include injuries, Corbin going down. Zach Gallen looks atrocious. I see him all the time, being put in trade talks. I don't know what team would want to trade for him on an expiring deal with a 5.75 ERA. I just feel like overall disappointment. It's the fact that the Diamondbacks thought they were going to be a team that comes in this season and can compete and actually has the talent. They had the frontline starters. Everyone talked about that they had the starters to go out there and compete for a World Series. This was a team that was in the World Series 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about a team that it's in full sell mode. Get rid of Suarez. Get anyone with value, they're going to sell. And I don't know if even at the end of this year, if Gallen walks, even though he's not pitching well, Corbin Burns, we'll see what happens. I don't know if they're even next year is going to be that great because of injuries, because they're going to be getting rid of guys. So I know the Orioles were the low-hanging fruit in this because of the, area. And I'm sure you may have them as well. But I want to go a little different, because I know it would be like Orioles. So I'm going to say the Diamondbacks, just with all the talent, especially in the rotation they had, for it to kind of fall apart with injuries, then Zach Gallen not pitching well, and then it feels like that's kind of a weak spot for them now.
Yeah.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, I would say I would agree with that with the D-backs. I actually really like that pick. And we both could say the Orioles, and no one would bat an eye. And I'm going to not do that selection either, just for this exercise, because the Orioles are one of the most disappointing teams of the season. We're here. We get that. Yeah. And I like your D-backs pick. A couple other ones I looked at that I was going in between. Kansas City for me was one that I sat there and said, you know what? They're still in this. They're 47-50. But didn't they feel like, Zach, that they were going to be a team that was going to be competing to win this division? The Detroit Tigers have a 12-game lead over them. They have the largest lead in Major League Baseball right now. They got an 11.5-game lead over the Twins. And the Tigers are playing at a different level, but I didn't expect Kansas City. But I'll take it one step further here then. I'm going to go the Atlanta Braves.
I was just going to say that 2 hours
because you start off 0-7. And again, you had to face Derry Bonds and Gavin Sheets and the Padres out there. So I get it. Then you play the Dodgers. But then you scratch and claw your way back, and you get to 500. Now, they've had a ton of injuries on their staff, but their roster of what they have, they fell right when they got to a point where you felt like they were going to go on a run. They just fell flat.
Yeah.
Completely flat. and their team hasn't performed. And this team was supposed to be with the Phillies and the Mets right in the thick of it. You got Ronald Acuna Jr. back. Yeah. But now, even with some of those pieces, and granted, I understand Strider got hurt, Schwallenbach hurt, Chris Sale. We know losing your starting pitchers, what that can do to a team here. But I really thought Atlanta was going to be a sleeper team to win not even a sleeper. I expected them to contend to win the National League. Yeah. I thought if there was a list of teams going into this year, I was going Phillies, Mets, Dodgers. Yeah. And I was going to say the Braves. Yeah. I thought the Braves were in a better position than the Diamondbacks because of just their pedigree and what they've done. So, yeah, I think the Braves, the Bravos, they're going to have some serious thinking. But make no mistake, I know people in Baltimore sitting there going, woof, woof. Yeah, that's the low-hanging fruit. You want us to say it? Yeah, the Orioles have been disappointing through the first 95 games of the season. They're 9 games below 500, while every team in their division is 3 games over or better. Yeah. And they sit 7.5 games back of a playoff spot. The Atlanta Braves we just talked about, 9.5. Diamondbacks, 5.5. And the Kansas City Royals, 4.5. But for Baltimore, the only 2 teams that are worse than them in the American League are the Athletics and the Chicago White Sox. It's not great company to be in when you expected to go and make a run at a World Series. So that's that. I think with the Braves, yeah, they've underwhelmed the last couple years, but they still actually 2 years ago they went to the playoffs and the Phillies beat them.
Yeah. So here's what, the Braves 2021 won the World Series. The next year they win 101 games, losing the NLDS. The next year in 23, they won 104 games, losing the NLDS. Last year they win 89 games after losing Acuna, losing the wild card. Yes, playoffs, they've underwhelmed, but during the season, the Braves have been damn good. I mean, this is not including this season. Prior to this season, 2 of the last 3 years, they've won 100 games. So, yes, playoff-wise can be disappointing, but in the past 4 years, they've gone to the playoffs all 4. They won a World Series. The 2 years prior, they won 100 games and lost in the NLDS. Now, albeit that's going to be disappointing. When you win the World Series, you feel like you have talent, losing the NLDS. But I don't, they won their division for, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of their last 7. Well, 6 straight before last year, finishing in second. So I don't know. They've underwhelmed in the playoffs. I agree, but regular season they've been pretty damn good. So I agree. I think that I like that pick. I was going back and forth between those, and I think they definitely probably are. I would even say bigger disappointment than the Orioles.
Yeah, let's put it then. I saw a spin here from Joe Adams. Let's put a positive way. Yeah, biggest surprise in a positive way. Positivo. Zach, do you know what that means in Spanish?
I have a feeling.
Okay. Well, do you want to kick us off? Who is your biggest surprise, positive way?
I don't want to say. I feel like they were a surprise to me, but not a lot of teams or not a lot of people. I talked a lot of things over the offseason saying I need to see more, saying I wasn't buying the late season push. I need to see it for more than just the end of season and on that magical run, but they have proved me wrong. The Detroit Tigers are without a doubt my biggest surprise, because I said it before the season. I was like, I'm not fully bought in on them until they win more. I was like, they did really well the final 70 games of last year, but I wanted to see, I was like, we've seen the Orioles go on streaks and then it not work out as well. I wanted to see it from the Tigers continue, and all they've done since then is be the best team in the American League. So without a doubt, biggest surprise for me. Like I said, maybe it's probably just me, because a lot of people bought into them after their run last year. I wanted to see more, but biggest surprise for me, if you would have asked me before the season where the Tigers stand at the halfway point at the All-Star break, I would not have said first in the AL.
Yeah, I thought that the Tigers would be a contender, but being 11.5 games leading your division and being the best team in all of baseball at this point. I think that was the surprise.
Yeah.
That they are humming right now, and they got just a great team playing with a lot of confidence, and they're going to have a chance here to go out there and continue to ride that momentum into the postseason, win another playoff series. In this case, how it's setting up, you win one postseason series, you're going to be in the ALCS with how it's slated for them at the moment. Yeah. So a lot to watch there. I'm going to go with the surprise, which obviously, Joe, I know you're saying Gavin Sheets. I have no surprise with Gavin because, holy sheets and pants, man. I maybe just because I've known him for so long, I've always seen the potential with Gav. When you're in Chicago and you're in a situation that was tough, I was just hoping he could be a peacock and they were going to let him fly. Just wasn't happening there. And you go somewhere else, and maybe that definitely surprised a lot of other people. Certainly did. I would probably say on a big surprise from a team standpoint, I would probably go Cardinals. I didn't think would be 5 games over 500 and still in this thing. I just think that there was so much question marks around their organization and if they were falling behind, right? Like I thought they were talking about selling off players, and here they are. They're 51-46, still battling. And then I will say the Giants being 52-45, I thought that the Giants were going to be the 4th best team in the AL West or the NL West, and they very well could end up that way. But right now with what they have, they get in. I would not be shocked if the Giants went on a run because they have some good pitching pieces. They have the offensive pieces that haven't clicked. And they were not expected by many people to be a team that was going to go out there and have that success. Yeah. So
I think if you'll go overall, biggest surprise from if we told you right before the season that it happened, you'd be like, what the? If we told you the Boston Red Sox are 53-45, riding a 10-game win streak into the All-Star break, you'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, they have a lot of young talent. And then they're like, oh, wait, yeah, it's actually all this happened after they traded Rafael Devers. You'd be like, after they what? Mm-hmm. And you're like, yeah, no, he's playing in San Francisco now. So if we want to go biggest surprise, I think you can also go Rafael Devers addition by subtraction, apparently, to the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah. So. And one other player, though, if we're going to say that's a big – I shouldn't say big surprise, but a surprise if we're going individual player, I'll go with another Padre because Derry Bonds, Gavin Sheets, I really honestly, I had no doubt if he had opportunities, he was going to put it together. I just know how hard that kid works. And now he's got dad strength to go on with it. So good luck to teams in the second half with Derry Bonds as a father playing for the Padres. But how about Nick Pivetta? Nick Pivetta was a guy that teams, when they saw that 4-year deal, and they're like, you're giving money to this guy, hasn't stayed healthy. What's he going to be? Oh, he's going to be a 4th starter for you. Nick Pivetta, he's been sensational. He's been absolutely sensational. He's 9-2 on the season with a 2.88 ERA. That's 18th best in baseball. Like that to me, I will probably say was the most surprising because the names that he's ahead of Logan Webb, Carlos Rodon, Clay Holmes on the Mets, guys that he's right there on the brink of passing, Framber Valdez, Joe Ryan, Seth Lugo, so I think that he, to me, for the value that he is turning out to be one of the best values of this past offseason as we kind of, approach it there.
And I would do it again.
Yeah, that was a Kevin Oestreicher, Locked On Kevin.
I'll give him credit. When we were talking about adding pitchers, everyone was talking about, you got to bring back Corbin and stuff. He's like, what about Nick Pivetta? And people were not happy about that one. So I'll give Kevin credit. He did. He I don't know if he saw this kind of Nick Pivetta coming, but he certainly, Nick Pivetta, one hell of a season.
Hell of a season, man. And you know what? Baseball season, we are over the halfway point, but they consider the second half when the All-Star game's up. So we're about to see the action tomorrow. Baseball's back Friday night. Whammy. See what happens. Tell a friend to tell a friend.
DVD starts tomorrow.
And you know what's also back in next week, or it's already happened with rookies, but camp for teams in the NFL opens next week. Veterans report on Tuesday, I think, next week. I saw that the Ravens are coming to an agreement with Mike Green. Maybe. Yes.
Yeah, so
maybe.
Word out by which reporter? One of the top guys just put it out. But yeah, so it's expected Mike Green will sign with the Ravens. I want to get the official who got it first.
Ian Rappaport was one of them.
All right, so Ian Rappaport was on first. Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, the Ravens are not alone with the kind of contract issues with the second round pick. So don't think this is, why are the Ravens doing this? I believe Mike Green is probably going to be only the third or fourth second rounder to be signed in the NFL, pretty much because the Texans gave Higgins a fully guaranteed contract, a first round contract in the second round because they liked him and they traded back out of the first to get him. And then every other second round pick was like, oh, we're giving fully guaranteed to second round picks. And other teams were like, we're not. So we'll see what happens there, what the official details of the deal are for Mike Green. But I would assume we're going to see a lot of dominoes in the second round start falling. I think this was one of those everyone held out to see if maybe some more guaranteed contracts would be thrown out there. I'm assuming Mike Green probably isn't fully guaranteed. If it is, though, that definitely makes it more interesting for the other teams. But if he is a normal second round contract, I think we see most of the second rounders signed in the next week or so.
I'm curious what's going to happen with Judkins up there with Cleveland. He hasn't signed yet, correct?
No, and that's now a whole nother issue for him.
Yes, it is. And it's just an interesting day with the NFL putting out notice. Jordan Addison, his DUI case was concluded, fine and probation for the Vikings.
Is he getting a suspension?
The NFL is expected to rule on a suspension soon. Then there's Judkins' case, which is going to be in the future. It's probably going to be a suspension because of the personal conduct policy and being arrested for it, for domestic violence. What was the other one? Rasheed Rice got his sentence.
Yeah,
and they expect a multi-game suspension. And what was it? 5 years probation?
5 years probation, 30 days in prison over those, or in jail over those 5 years. Although I did see someone make a funny joke that he's actually 32 days in jail if you count the games he has to go up against Pat Surtain. So I thought that was funny. Twitter, good job on that one.
Hey, you know what? It has some moments. It has some good moments here.
They have their moments.
No doubt it does. And we've had some great moments with all of you. We are going to have a shorter show today just because, like I said, I'm going to be hosting or emceeing an event tonight for the Baltimore Business Journal. Tell you guys all about it. Maybe on that next Rip After Dark for our channel members there. So if you want to hear what's going on, and because usually on Thursdays we have our call-ins, don't worry. Maybe in those after dark sessions, we'll bring you on. We'll have a little chat so I can hear what's going on with each and every one of you. And maybe we'll have a wild Rocco DeSangro appear, and he'll have some other snack. Then he'll be all giddy. Maybe he'll get denied his Wawa like it was on the last episode. Zach, did you hear about that? He ordered Wawa, and the deliverer canceled on him.
Every time I see Rocco join one of those, he is either in the process of getting food or he is currently eating
food. Yep. One of the two.
He is never, even when he would join Kevin and Zach React later on, he would just sit there and he'd be like, yeah, I'm eating this pizza real fast. And I'm like, okay. And he would be like, word strike. That's like, Rocco, take a bite, and then we can talk. So some things never change.
Some things never change with that kid. He's a good kid, by the way. He is a good kid. I don't care what everyone else says about him. He is a good kid. And if you missed this week's episodes, by the way, go back and check on him. We had Jonathan Mayo with MLB Pipeline. We went pretty extensive on the draft yesterday, Zach. Yeah. So that's one. What else did we do yesterday? Well, we talked a lot about everything with the All-Star game. Mm-hmm. Tuesday. Who did we have on Tuesday? Now I'm losing my mind. Oh, no, yesterday we also had Bryce Whitlow.
Yeah.
Commissioner of the Hall.
Tuesday we had Naden.
That was right. That's when we found out that I had this feeling on a summer night when you were gone. We found out that was made for 7-year-olds. It wasn't.
It was not.
You know, my sister, I put that out. My sister sent me some as well. And I'm like, oh, Next or Too Close by Next, not made for kids. Have you ever heard that song?
No.
Oh, you should go listen to that.
Too Close?
Too Close. Not made for kids.
Where it's like, just too close to love you.
No.
Because that's the Too Close I know.
Nope. You know, it's on they're talking about being on the dance floor.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
Wow. I just looked up the first sentence of the.
Don't you like when we find out a lot about some of these songs? You know? So that's why when I at least say when I move, you move, just like that. Like that's fine. You know? Some of the other ones, not so fine.
Yeah, that's
still love it. That was an absolute heater for me growing up. Heater. Had no idea what it meant.
Yeah, that one's Calvin Harris. My bad.
Yeah, I don't think I even pronounced the lyrics right. I thought it was different words.
It starts out with a heater for the young kids.
I will say, that part I didn't understand what that actually meant. It's one of those things like
really tough.
Yeah.
Hope she can tell how tough you are right now.
And also, instead of when it says grinding, I thought it said crying. Like I thought it said baby, no more crying when I was a kid. Very different. And now I'm like, it makes sense.
Just your classic kid song.
Yeah, I mean, this is that's the line right there. That's one of the other lines.
What a fucking time. What a time.
Oh, you know I can't help it. Know what I want to do. Goodness, what a song, but wow. Goodness gracious. All right. I think we're good. I think we're good for today. The throwback, if you guys saw it yesterday, we had our throwback songs. Keep letting us know what we should have each week. We should deep dive into one song as a kid that we thought was so
ruin it as we're sitting there and we're like, wow.
Yes.
That's what we were listening to.
That's what we were listening to. That's what we need.
Oh.
Because there's a lot of those. It's a lot of those hidden meanings.
There are a lot of hidden meanings.
Yeah, there are. And one more on the way out here, guys. If you guys didn't see these hot pics of me yesterday, up to 10 images I can't share. Well, let me remove this one so you guys can see that hot pic of me at the All-Star or the All-American game last year. Man. Not even football related, just a hot pic.
Just
look at that. The signature actually there looks similar to the one I have now. Very similar.
That's not a bad signature there.
It's not. The other one I did was pretty bad. But that one's there. Look at that. That smile. I think that smile might have been, that was early Rye. That was 17-year-old Rye. And that hair, I miss it every single day. Well, guys, that concludes what we're doing today. If you're new, though, hit that like and subscribe button. Turn on those notifications, by the way, so when we do something, you know what's happening. If you're a channel member, join in on the fun. We are really changing up how we are going to enhance the experience, and we appreciate each and every one of you. We want you to be along for the ride with us as we continue to move on through to making this better. And since we're done for the week for the Ryan Ripken Show, check out Rip After Dark for channel members. And for all baseball fans, Friday night, the O's are back in town. Kevin and Zach React will be on.
Back, baby.
Hopefully after an Orioles victory. And if it's after a loss, then Zach, good luck. So,
we need it.
Yeah. Am I original? Yeah. That'll be another one to break down. All right, cue the music. As always, here on the Ryan Ripken Show, we appreciate each and every one of you. Have a day, have a night, Have a great stinking rest of your Thursday and have a great weekend. And we'll be back to do the whole damn thing next week with a brand new edition of the Ryan Ripken Show. Be good.